Since I've been out of the garden, my projects have been stacking up and stacking up, and now that the weather is nice and fresh, it's the perfect time to get them all done. So this is my to-do list today. First, I'm gonna plant garlic, then I'm gonna plant potatoes, onions, passion fruit. I'm gonna transplant some pups, and then I'm gonna transplant some cool weather crops. No biggie, it's just gonna take a couple of hours, which is totally fine with me. So I'm gonna focus on planting garlic first, and I have it inside, so let me go get it. Last year was my first time growing garlic, and I had a really good harvest, but I definitely did not grow nearly enough for the rest of the year. So this year I'm gonna fix that, and I'm actually gonna experiment again, trying to grow a couple different varieties. So let me go through them with you. So first I'm gonna experiment with growing store-bought garlic. This is organic garlic that I picked up at Fry's. It comes in a 3-pack for like $2, $1.99. And I bought 3 of them because if they grow, I wanna make sure that I have a good amount, because with garlic, you usually use the bigger cloves. So I'm not gonna end up planting everything. Last year, I was like, why not try? Why not plant even the skinniest, tiniest little ones? I don't want any of the garlic to go to waste. And those gave me greens, but there's a reason that you don't plant those, because the little garlic bulbs came out super, super tiny. So you really want to stick with the big garlic cloves. The second type of garlic that I'm growing is seed garlic. This one I bought from garlicgods.com. I live in the low desert, and that was one of the only websites that still had soft neck garlic in stock when I placed an order, which was a few months ago, because last year I waited too long, so I had to order garlic from Amazon. This one is the variety Enchilum Red. It's an artichoke soft neck with medium and robust flavor. And it came with 6 heads in it. So that one is seed garlic. Next we have next we have more seed garlic from Garlic Gods as well. This one came with a ton more heads, but I will say they look so small. Rosa di Sulmona. It's a Creole soft neck, pungent and sweet. And there it is. This one definitely looks a lot smaller than the other seed garlic that I bought. And then I decided to experiment with store-bought garlic again, because last time it was sprouting. So I was like, you know what? Might as well give it a go. I have 3 bulbs right here. This one just says Crystal Garlic LA. 5 bulbs, fresh garlic. And I only kept 3. And to be completely honest with you, it looks like these might be trying to sprout already. They're starting to burst out of the skins. So hopefully that means that they'll grow for me. And last but not least, I'm planting garlic that I saved from my harvest last year. And okay, I'm so sorry, but look at the size of mine compared to compared to the other seed garlic that I bought. These are way bigger, which makes me feel so proud. But that doesn't mean that it's gonna taste the best. It just means it's bigger. So the first thing I'm gonna do is labels. I have some in my pocket. I'm gonna label them because I want to plant them in containers, and I have a whole garden bed set aside for the garlic. Where's my pencil? And I have a grease pencil in my head. One of you recommended using a grease pencil, and I will forever be thankful, because these work so well. I used to use pencil, and pencil doesn't come off, but it's really hard to see because it's just like, you know, like that silverish color. Whereas this one, you can spot a mile away. So I'm not standing there like tilting the tag trying to figure out what I'm planting. So I'm just gonna make a couple of tags for each variety. That way, no matter where I put them in the yard, I'm gonna have them labeled. While I make the labels, I'm gonna tell you, what's today's date? I can't remember. The type of garlic that I usually like to plant here in the low desert is the soft neck garlic variety, because that one is the recommended variety. So that's what I've been trying to grow, and I think that's what performed best last year. I had planted the California white garlic, but that doesn't mean that hardneck won't grow. I've heard of people putting them in the fridge to convince it that it's gone through the winter time so that it can actually start growing. So maybe I'll try that next year as well. I'm gonna make about 3 tags for each, because I know I want to put some in the bed, and I'm going to put some in containers. So we're at the end of October, and last year I would have already had all of my garlic planted out. So much kept happening week after week. So first I got hurt, so I wasn't able to plant it. And then this past week I had COVID, so I wasn't able to be out here either because I felt horrible. And usually that would have stressed me out quite a bit, but I don't feel so stressed out because I have the shade cloth up, so I feel like my season can just extend a little bit more. But also last week we still had temperatures of like 102, 103, which is nuts at the end of October. So I don't really feel like I'm behind too much. So I'm gonna start by prepping my garlic. And by prepping, I mean just taking the cloves apart so that I can save the biggest ones. Look at the size of these cloves. Really, really nice. Really, really plump. These are the store-bought organic from Fry's, and they look lovely. They look really, really lovely. This whole head only came with 5 cloves, which is not bad, actually. Usually I get maybe like 4 or 5 cloves around and then a couple of very skinny little ones in the middle. Let me see if this one has any. But see, like this one, for example, starts getting a lot smaller compared to these. Just starts getting way too small. And it might also depend on the head. Some heads just tend to have smaller cloves than others, but you really just want to choose the biggest ones that you possibly can from those heads. And then down the center, we have these teeny tiny little cloves. Some of them can get even smaller than this, but look at the difference. So this I'm not going to wind up planting. I'm just going to put it back inside the house and we'll eat it fresh. But I will plant some of these medium-sized cloves and see what we get. And the reason I wanted to experiment with store-bought garlic alongside seed garlic that I bought online is because oftentimes I hear people saying that with store-bought garlic, you just got to be careful because it may carry disease. That doesn't mean that it will, but it may. I find that store-bought garlic is just significantly cheaper than seed garlic, which makes sense. So I just wanted to give it a shot and see whether I can get it to grow or not. And I want to make sure that I really separate them because last year I had some that I didn't fully separate. So they started growing the bulb, but they didn't grow good enough because they were, stuck together. But like these two, too small. So out of that 3-pack from the store-bought organic garlic, I'm going to get 18 heads of garlic potentially. Last year, I think I only harvested like 25-ish for my whole harvest. So if I can get like triple, quadruple the amount, I would be a very happy gardener. Oh my gosh, some of these cloves are massive. I haven't had to set aside many small cloves. May have spoken too soon because this one has a couple of little ones. Now another option if you want to use up all the garlic in the garden is you can also just plant a small container of garlic greens where you can plant the smallest cloves still, but you won't get big heads of garlic or anything like that. You can just keep harvesting the greens to use in different dishes. Oh my gosh, what the heck? I got 50 cloves from the organic store-bought garlic. If all of those sprout, that already doubles my harvest from last year. Well, not just if they sprout and they grow. Now I'm gonna keep putting them back into the bag so that I have them split up. Next is the seed garlic called Rosa di Sulmona. I don't really know how to pronounce that. Rosa di Sulmona? Sulmana? Rosa di Sulmana? I thought that soft neck didn't have that hard middle piece, and this one has the hard middle piece. That thing that's like super tough. This one does too, but it says that it's a soft neck, Creole soft neck. Maybe the Creole varieties have that middle piece too? I have no idea. I'm just hoping that it grows. The ones that I grew last year didn't have that middle piece except for the one that produced the garlic scape. But I thought only hardnecks produce garlic scapes. One thing I am liking about this one is that the skin has a purplish hue, and the ones that I grew last year also had a purplish hue, and I thought it was just so stinking beautiful. Okay, so some of the cloves, the small cloves are extra tiny. I have a question for you guys. If you've grown garlic and then you save your own seed garlic, do you save the biggest heads from your harvest, or do you save the smallest heads from your harvest, or the tighter heads? I just saved the last ones that were remaining. But I want to know for next year, whatever I harvest this year, I'm definitely going to save a good amount as well. That way I can just keep multiplying year after year. One thing I'm noticing is that these are a lot harder to break up compared to the store-bought. The heads just not only are smaller for this variety, but they also seem to be a bit tougher. My fingers feel like they're starting to get like sore from trying to take the garlic cloves apart. Ooh, and I don't know if these are cloves or if those are those like little nodes that grow that you can also plant. It's just so cool to see how they form. They look very different, very different from the other garlic that I'm used to growing. Let me come closer. It's almost growing in like layers upwards, like in tiers. Out of the Rosa di Sulmona Creole Softneck variety, I got 61 cloves. This next variety is my homegrown garlic. And look how huge these heads are. This is a good size. Even when I get down to the very middle, there's no hard stem. There's no scape there. Every single clove from my garden came out huge. I'm so proud. I got 34 good-sized cloves from the garlic that I saved from last year's harvest. This next variety is store-bought non-organic garlic. This one I bought at Food City, and I had these in the fridge just because I wasn't exactly sure if they were soft neck or not. The only thing is I don't know what variety it is. The one from Food City. And I don't know if Food City is in every state or if it's just in Arizona. So there's a couple of cloves here that are a little too small, but the majority of them are a really good size, like the ones that I harvested myself. So from these 3 heads, I got 33 cloves of garlic, very similar to the cloves that I harvested. Cannot wait to grow these. Now, the last variety is seed garlic from Garlic Gods as well, and this is the Enchilium Red. And these... Why is the shape so weird? Like, look, what is this at the top? Is it like... It's like the cloves are growing on top of each other. That's so cute. I've never seen that before. I'm gonna plant those because they remind me of the things that, like the little nodes that grow on the side. From the Enchilium Red Artichoke Softneck, I got 53 cloves. This is the garden bed that I have reserved for the garlic. I have some dying cucumbers, some Armenian cucumber vines that need to be removed, and then the rest of it should be clear enough to just have different sections of garlic. And I'm just gonna remove this whole trellis. I made it out of bamboo skewers. These are all cucumber vines that didn't really produce for me. I think this little section just got a little too much sun, and because we've still had temperatures in the hundreds, it just didn't cut it. And I'm putting all the vines in here. Whoops. I have cucumbers in another portion of the yard that had a lot less sun, and those are looking amazing. The leaves are huge. They're producing right now, but I think it's just far too warm over on this portion of the garden. And the sad thing is that I didn't get any production. The vines just started getting a lot of pest pressure instead. I think this trellis would also work beautifully for peas, so I'm gonna fold it up and I might just try and use it somewhere else in the garden. Okay, there we go. So much more space now. And I'm gonna tell you the variety of cucumbers that I had here, just so that I know for next year not to plant them or to plant them somewhere else because they clearly didn't like this spot. But I had the Kiwano Jelly Melon, the White Wonder Cucumber, the Space Master Cucumber, and the Lemon Cucumber. And these were all planted on 7-9. And I didn't get any production from them. The rest of the garden is ready for garlic. Well, except for the vines on that side. So maybe I'll take care of those first. Should I? Yeah, I should. I'm just gonna clear this side of the trellis. Honestly, I kind of want to clear this side too because I'm seeing a lot of pest pressure, but there's still a couple of Armenian cucumbers growing over here, so I feel kind of bad taking it out already. But see, this is my issue every year. I leave things in the garden when I should already take them out. Later on, the pest pressure just keeps building and building. Maybe I will just take all these vines out. I have vines in other portions of the garden that are still producing, so why am I gonna hold on to something that's not gonna serve me or do me any good? And if I do take them out, then I can start planting peas. And in a few weeks, we should have them gorgeously covered in pea vines. I find that that really helps me to let go of plants that I'm having trouble letting go of, is sort of reminding myself that that doesn't mean that the garden will be bare or that I'm not going to grow anything else. It's something I wanted to tell you about this Armenian cucumber vine specifically is I planted it probably around March, April, and it started growing and then it started heating up really fast. Sorry. And then it started heating up really fast, so the vine started dying back. But then I fixed my watering and it slowly started coming back. And then the shade cloth went up and it exploded with growth and started just throwing Armenian cucumbers at me. It gave me what it was gonna give, and I'm grateful for that. Dang, that's the stem right there. And there's still a couple of Armenian cucumbers hanging on. Climbing up on this side, I have what I believe to be some jicama. So hopefully I get something, but that I planted a while ago and then I just figured it never grew. But once the shade cloth went up, it started coming back. Ooh. Let me go get a ladder. Okay. Ooh, every single leaf looks like that. Yeah. Yuck. Oh, I'm finding so many Armenian cucumbers up here. I'm almost there, but I'm covered in leaves, and I don't like the feeling. More Armenian cucumbers. Another cucumber. And a pumpkin, a pumpkin. Time to work on this side. Here was another melon that definitely wasn't ripe yet, but I can't keep the whole vine for just 2 pieces of fruit. I'm finally done clearing it out. Okay, see? And I was dreading doing it, but now I don't feel so bad anymore. By the way, I really like this pop-up hamper. It's from Fiskars. I already have it linked. I used to have to use the black trash bags and I hated them because they constantly ripped. This one has a hard bottom, which makes it easy to drag across all the pavers in my garden. Now before I move on to the fun part of planting garlic, I'm gonna do the not so fun part of cleaning up this pathway so that I keep the garden tidy as I go. This will just make my life easier because once I'm done planting, I can move on to the next task and I know I won't have left too much of a mess out here. Okay, time to get planting. I have my garlic here, and usually I would go through and re-amend the garden bed, but I did that a few weeks ago. I fertilized it, I added azomite and compost. Topped it with a few inches of compost. Well, you know what? The cucumbers were right here, so maybe I should add a little bit more fertilizer in, huh? To amend the bed, I'm gonna add a little bit of garden tone, herb and vegetable food. I'm just gonna sprinkle some, and then I'm gonna scratch it into the soil. Now I can start planting. I have my drip irrigation already set up. I'm not gonna mess with any of that. I'm just gonna start popping these cloves in. And I'm starting off with the one that I grew myself, so homegrown garlic. So I have my dibber. I'm gonna take my garlic clove and I'm gonna plant it pointy side up. I'm planting them about 4 inches apart and about 3 inches deep. It might look like I'm spacing them a little too close together, but last year this is what I did and it worked out pretty good for me. So that's what I'm gonna do again. I'm still probably gonna add a thin layer of compost over all of this, just to be on the safe side. Now I'm gonna cover everything up. Next is the Enchilium red garlic. Uh-oh, the water's coming on. By the way, I had to go inside and put on a headband because it was just far too hot and the sweat was starting to get in my eyes. But these headbands are from a brand called Junk Brands. One of my followers recommended them to me, so I purchased 2 of them and I really like them. Oh, there's so many ants over here. Dang it. This is the Rosa di Sulmona garlic. Rosa di Sulmona. In this last little section right here, I think I'm going to plant store-bought organic garlic. All done. The bed is finally planted up. This is what the garlic bed looks like right now. Something else that I'm gonna do is just add another thin layer of compost just in case. And I'll come in and water it later on today. Right now the irrigation is going on in the rest of the garden, so I can't really do it right now, but I will get to it. Now I'm on the other side of the garden with 2 more containers. These have also been fertilized and amended with compost, and these wine barrels I bought from Lowe's, and I really like them. I have them scattered throughout the garden. They just work so well. So in one of them I'm gonna put the rest of the organic garlic, and in the other I'm gonna grow the non-organic garlic that is also store-bought. And I'm gonna put 2 tags in there first, just in case anything comes in and tries to steal one. I'm pretty sure I can fit all of these into 1 container. Last year I had a really good harvest from the containers, and I feel like I hadn't yet gotten down the watering portion, so hopefully this harvest comes out even better. And I'm not too worried about making sure that the spacing is extra perfect. Just making a hole and popping some in there. So now I'm just gonna cover them up, and these should be ready to go. And then just in case I haven't shown you before, this is the bottom portion. You can tell that's where the roots will come out of, and this is the pointy part. You can see the little point right there. I still have quite a bit of garlic left, so I'm gonna pop the rest of these. I don't know, actually. Here's another container. It's already set up on drip. Also, I need to pick up some more mulch because look at all this soil. It's beautiful, ready to be planted in because it had all that mulch on top. Okay, good luck. Now I'm gonna take all these really small cloves of garlic and I'm just gonna pop them into this container. That way you can see why they're usually not planted. So in this 15-gallon, I just have a green globe artichoke. I don't remember what this is actually, I should have labeled it. But I'm just gonna pop in a couple of these. And then worst case, even if we don't get good heads of garlic, we'll have at least some garlic greens to use in dishes.